Clipboard fam? It's your favorite coach, Coach Jeffrey, and I have another amazing guest here tonight. I have my homeboy, Ivra Warren. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Hey, man, tell our listening audience a little bit about yourself.
How far back can we go?
Story.
From Florence, Alabama. That's why I started out, born and raised. Then I journeyed on to Tennessee State, became a teacher. Then I went to Atlanta for a little bit. Then ended up in the great state of Texas and Houston, Texas.
Yeah. And then when you got to Houston, Texas, what happened?
Ooh, I seen how horrible a teacher I was. I left Nashville thinking I was the man because I had 99% test score, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Then I got to the Fifth Ward and I started out at Cashmere High School. That was a whole reinvention.
So a lot of our listeners don't know where Cashmere High School is or the demographics that's associated with that school. So that was your first school that you worked at when you got to Houston, correct?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so the demographics is Title I high school in a high poverty neighborhood. It is unfortunately traditionally known to not have students being successful in standardized exams. And there was a big push in that community to actually try to close that high school down. Were you there at that time?
I think I got there right after the push, right at the end of the push, because I'm an alumni coming up.
Yeah. And it was a storied high school, very vital in the Black community in Houston because it had a Grammy Award-winning band that produced like several hits in the 1970s. Jamie Foxx made a movie about that band director who worked at that high school. And so it used to be a very thriving community. And because of poverty and different things, in that school, like many other schools who face high poverty issues, it changed.
Yeah.
You walk into that situation, you're a brand new teacher. How long had you been teaching before you got hired at NHISD?
Probably like maybe 2 years, 3 years before I got hired into HISD. I went home for a bit to help mom out. Dad was sick, and I had lost my job in 2008 due to the recession. So that field time right there, I was teaching biology, free coaching track at Florence High School. And I finally got a job in Houston. I was traveling back and forth to Houston like 2 or 3 times a week, going to interviews and all kinds.
Gotcha. So you get hired at Cashmere, and then you said you realized you was a horrible teacher. So what made you decide that you were a horrible teacher at that time?
None of the techniques worked out of Nashville. I always taught in Title I, low economic status type schools, but you always find that thing that works for each school. And I thought it was a cookie cutter thing, and it wasn't. This was a different type of behavior that I encountered in the Cashmere High School than what I was used to dealing with in Nashville, Tennessee. It's on the schools I worked there.
Yeah.
Nothing worked. I had to throw the whole game plan out. It was nothing.
So then you learned how to teach. So that's the good thing. You went to Cashmere and they showed you how to teach. So how did we meet each other? How did we get to become friends?
So let me jump back because if Mr. Frazier see this video, and I don't give him his props, we're going to have a problem.
Give him his props.
So Mr. Frazier was a teacher. Like my first boss was Dr. Sam over at Marshall High School now. And I didn't want to lose, even though I was trying to get better in the teaching realm. I didn't want to lose, so I was doing lesson plans all day Saturday. One that in particular that I remember was I was doing this lesson plan, and I don't know, I guess she had time that day. So I was sending it to her. And then she would mark it all over red and send it back, do it over. And then I sent it back to her. I was in the coffee shop for 9 hours, like trying to get this right. I'm like, man, what is at that time? What is you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but she was trying to make me better. And so then fast forward, got that under control, lesson plan, learning how to do all of that stuff. And Mr. Frazier was assigned to my room, and he was like, man, you can't even sit down in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could teach you the way. He was like, almost like some Star Wars stuff. I could teach you the way, but are you going to listen?
Yeah.
So I got my pen and paper out. I was like, man, show me. And we started step by step. Introduction to information, how to break content down. Like we went in the whole gamut. So he gave me my surface level information and then my creativity. And here we go. And so now we get to Mr. Jeffries, which I met in Lamar Consolidated. I got hired, right? I got hired, and you was giving a presentation. And by that time, once I got to do something, I moved fast, right? I had high level success. I'd been teaching the young stuff. And I'm like, man, I'm starting to plateau. But you start talking about research. That's what it was. You kid, low reading level, 2 to 3 years with these specialized techniques. And so they immediately pinged me because I'm like, man, I know this will happen. And so from there, I was like, almost like a leech, but not like in a bad way. I was like, every time he moved, I was like, hey, how you do this? How you do that? You know what I'm saying? And do we talk about the angels or not? We need to have the angels alone.
Hey, man, listen, I think we learned a lot from each other during that particular time. You turned me on to Dr. Miles Monroe, somebody who I didn't know anything about up until I met you. So I definitely appreciate that. And a lot of times, let's just talk about position. And at the time, you were a science teacher and I was a science coordinator.
Right.
I don't think position got in the way of us learning to being mentored by each other. Correct? Am I wrong about that?
No, it was I've always respected position, you know what I'm saying? But what comes with I got this, we're not gonna listen to everybody. You came out the gate, you didn't have to tell me your position. I just knew you was on another level. And I knew I was not. And I knew that I had to get what you had in your brain, so I needed to be quiet. And so then at that point, there's some things that I was doing that I didn't even know I was doing, but you was putting the science behind it. You was like, you doing this, by this. So we never even talked about position, really. You know what I'm saying? It was phone call, a phone call. Hey, can you come through, man? Come through the room. I'm trying something new. What do you think? Can you give me some feedback? And I was thinking, it started off in a high level mentor coaching state and then progressed from there.
Yeah, it did. And I got to tell you that a lot of where I am today, I owe some of that to you because me and you have had like different talks about just different processes. And so one of the processes that me and you have had talks about was your book. And I remember when we were talking early in the morning, I was driving and so I used to drive an hour back and forth to work. And then I hit you and you said, hey man, I think I'm getting ready to publish a micro book. And I don't, that may not even been what you called it, but you was like, I'm going to write this book and write a series of books and I'm going to focus on classroom management. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a great idea because I saw your classroom management and I have not seen a teacher have classroom management like you have. Students were excited to come to your class. Students would break their neck coming to your class. I saw the videos when you first got hired of how you were running your classroom. Then I came in and saw your classroom, which I thought was even better than what was on the video. So let's talk about space. You wrote a book about classroom management, right?
So Space was a book about classroom management, but it also was a book of taking Patty research, and also the business world and how they market and form environment within their companies. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. So within the book, Space, specialized plans to accelerate classroom effectiveness. It was a conglomeration of things that I know worked in the classroom that have been highly science-based. And a lot of teachers kept asking me, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do you get this kid to work and this kid won't work in my class and all this stuff? So I said, let me put it all in a place where I can share with other teachers and make sure, that I'm giving them all of me and giving them speed in the process by just doing the techniques in the workbook.
One of the things I hear people love to say, man, you don't really know classroom management because they're going to listen to you because you're a big black man anyway. Has anybody ever said that to you?
Yeah, I get it all the time because my co-teacher, Coach Alex, he's another big black man. Yeah, fan. But that's not going to be further from the truth if you've been in real at-risk or Title I teaching. You know what I'm saying? You don't have nothing to do with it. You can't control people. You can control environments, though. So I create and control the environment to control kids. And so when the environment of kids wanting to be a part of something good instead of something bad, then that pretty much controls how their kids' actions is, how they act. Because when you go to the mall, you act certain. When you go to church, you act another. When you go to a party, you act. So why not in the class? How do you create these thriving environments inside the classroom? And then you get to your systems and do all of that stuff. But that environment is the biggest piece.
Let's talk about that because you just hit me in the head right there. You said you can't control people, you control environments. And I think that is one of the major keys that successful classroom management puts into play first. Those teachers who are successful in classroom management, it is the environment. So what does a thriving environment look like?
So the easiest thing that I start with, I'm gonna go backwards to front. Just we talking environment right now. We don't create bad behavior. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing. Like bad behavior, you get the brunt of everything inside the classroom. You know what I'm saying? Because in our culture, we used to praise and send off orders for people who actually committed crimes and all of this stuff. And we have T-shirts made, we have all that stuff made. The good kids always get the tail end of the workload of a teacher because they're good kids. And that model has to flip. So we always trying to focus on how do we get these kids unmotivated? How do we get them to work? You know what I'm saying? We losing on the back end because our good kids need to go higher, or the kids that supposed to be, and we lose this. We just so in the classroom, it's like join the game. They don't want to join the game because things look cool and they got these certain colors and all of that good stuff. They want to join the game for camaraderie. The environment of the game is something they appeal to. They like kids join negative groups. So inside the environment, when you got 98% of kids having fun and learning and thriving inside the classroom, and then you got 2 that's not, I don't even have to say nothing to the 2 because they're gonna feel out of place. You know what I'm saying? Because they like if it's 98 and your homeboys or your homies are working and getting the job done and just high five and they run around the classroom doing what they gotta do, and you're gonna want to be part of that instead of the other way around.
Yeah. Hey man, so we never talked about what you teach. Yeah, well, since you was a science teacher, what do you?
Oh, I teach biology. This year I got introduced to environmental science, AP, and then also AP biology.
Okay, so you work at a Title I high school still.
Yeah, I'm in Marshall High School, Fort Bend. Go Buffs.
So you work at a Title I high school and you teach freshmen or sophomores biology.
Freshman.
Fresh.
Because most of the classes of biology are freshmen.
Yeah. So anybody teaching freshmen post pandemic, you mean to tell me that you come in your classroom and you got these freshmen, post pandemic freshmen? Let me just be very specific.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know what that is.
Yeah. Hey, let me tell you, if you ever was a freshman, these freshmen are a new breed. Okay. These post pandemic freshmen, yeah, those are special. Those are a special group. So you get those kids to learn biology and give me one strategy that you employ first off, like just concrete. I come in, I see it right off when I step in your classroom.
Simplistic. Especially when you walk in and introduce new subject content, a new unit or anything like that. The simplicity is ultimate sophistication. You know what I'm saying? That could come from Steve Jobs and how he created Apple and all this. Less is more. So I'm starting off with big words. Just an example, I don't start off DNA with editing and all this stuff. And all these big words is going to run the kid out. They reading level already on the 3rd, 4th grade as we speaking. So now here I come with these words they never heard before. It's still fast and it scares the kid out. So what I got to do is be in the content. I would respectfully disrespect their intelligence. And let me tell you why. I would say, hey, did everybody in here know their ABCs, right? And they look, you see the kid, they looking around. Everybody know their ABC. Everybody. I don't care what your level is, nothing. Everybody knows ABC. And so I say, I don't believe it. And then they start saying, you got a whole class saying ABC. Once they going A through Z all the way through, and they saying it with confidence. I said, nah, man, like if y'all know this, all y'all got to do for this section is learn about 5 letters from the alphabet. So what I've done right there is I've taken the fear of learning away just like that. I'm starting to take away the trauma of learning at the same time. So now that's happened. Okay, now this A go with the T and then this C go with the G. I'm still not using big words. I'm still on I'm build confidence, so they ready to learn the next level, which is the next level was A, T, C, G, DNA. Boom. Then I say, let me write 4 of them up here. Now y'all run through. So I don't say nitrogenous bases. I say, let me write 4 letters up here. Y'all got to draw a line between them and then match the other letter to go with what I just told. And y'all doing all the writing with me because I do something called a direct teach, all inclusion direct teach. So you don't just listen to me talk. You writing while I'm talking, drawing what I'm drawing, so I can keep that focus all the way through the 7 minutes. A lot of teachers lose that way.
Bro, like you said, 7 minutes. 7 minutes of what?
7 minutes of direct teach. So I'm not teaching no more than 7 minutes. Sometimes I done cut it down now to 4.
Wow. So you mean to tell me when you walk in your classroom and you got 5, how many periods you teach a class?
7, 6.
So you teach 7 classes and you only teaching 7 minutes in your class. And kids
I'm only teaching 7 minutes. And then it's at the point now where I don't teach it all. I let virtual me teach.
Yeah, you just blew some people's brains right there.
Yeah, so we get into the virtual me like so what happens then? Now I built this confidence, right? They like got it like ATCG, and I do it and then I let them run with it for a little bit. I said, y'all make your own line. And y'all combine that, and then somebody else make the line for another person. And y'all like, so the confidence just gone. Then fast forward, now I'm like, okay, the A stands for adenine, right? The G stands for guanine, but they have the base level information they need to know what matches with what. I say, just take I write the whole word on the board, take the first letter of each word. And I tell them scientists are lazy. They got an acronym for everything. You know what I'm saying? So take the first letter and I will box it, they'll box it, do all the stuff. And therefore, we are running. We are doing DNA, nucleotides, and all kinds of stuff. Like, but that's how I build out each lesson. I build out each lesson as if I was talking to my 5-year-old daughter, trying to get her to learn the concept from this level all the way up to high school. So that's how I roll. I go elementary all the way back to college.
Yes. Now you said virtual you. Now you trying to tell me you have a virtual yourself in your classroom? How do you doing that?
Basically, I took the science from TikTok and what do you call it? TikTok. Kids ain't really on Facebook, but TikTok and Instagram, Twitter, and the science that they have on how to engage a human being is where I took the length of the videos. Right? So I built what they call a learning management system every teach that I teach, because you don't. A lot of people want problem stop. I tell the people, don't worry about the problem, just build your skills to solve the problems that come. So in Title I schools, right? In Title I schools, you have high transit kids. They get kicked out of this school, and then now they coming over here to this school. Then they might get kicked out of this school or get whatever the case may be. They might miss a lot of days because they have to work, whatever the case, right? So I say, how do I solve this problem of a high transit student? One, I got to teach them biology whenever they come in to pass the test. Two, I got this kid that cannot stay out of trouble. Three, I got this kid that has family issues and they just cannot be here. So I said, let me shoot micro video, 1 to 2 minutes each video, and it's a compound effect. So DNA might take 7 videos to teach them the surface level all the way through, right? And teach those micro videos, put them in what they call a set. And the kid got to transition from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 on their own, which is self-paced learning, which is what a lot of education is going to at that point as well. And it's a one-on-one situation with the kid. And they have headphones on, so they got to listen first, write everything I write second, and then lead a main ideal up under the video third. But now they get all forms of learning. And now the learning is not on me, the learning is on them, but they have a one-on-one situation with me. That's why I like to call it private school, because I get private school numbers, actually better than private school numbers. We're building this LMS system out for every every unit, everything for the whole duration of the year. So now what did that do for me as a teacher? So now, like I told you, I don't even do the 4-minute, 5-minute teaching so much anymore, because when they come in, I do the engage or whatever. And then I say, hey, let's go to Huff LMS. Let's get this surface level information and you just get these notes down and slow. Then I come back and do a teach, because now I can teach at a higher level because they understand. I just flip the classroom inside the classroom. So now they understand what I'm saying when I start these words off at a high level, because they've been in a one-to-one situation. And I done took off their phone.
Hey, I think this might be a new title, flipping the classroom inside the classroom. That's some, I don't know if anybody is breaking it down like that. So you got your book Spaces, and what does SPACE stand for again?
Specialized plans, accelerate classroom effect.
Okay. And you have some other accolades that's going towards your name.
Yeah, Teacher of the Year. The book just got picked up by U of H and they curriculum. And it's one of the classes in their curriculum. But yeah, then most of the accolades. We got ready. I formed a company with another lady named Jay Johnson with Expand EDU, which is going to focus on Title I schools and try to bridge that gap of what's missing in the college educational system to get teachers prepared for the classroom. Now I was doing a guest lecture for U of H, and I could see that what they was missing. And what they're missing is space, because you get pedagogy in college, but then you get real world over here. And you're going to go in with a system on how to be a rock star teacher with having your systems in place. A lot of teachers just lose because they're missing systems.
Hey, that's deep. That's deep. So you've always worked in the pre-service teacher academy. You worked also with, what was the other program you was working with, like maybe 2 summers ago?
Oh, TQRP, Teacher Quality and Retention Schedule Marshall Program, which was a beautiful program. They brought heavy hitter teachers from all over the U.S. and then they brought in all HBCU students from all over the U.S. and we had these micro shops. And every teacher that comes out of that type of training, man, they like when I look on Facebook, they always now they got a master's, now they got a principal job, now they teach of the year, now they just always something. And I like to think I played a small part in the development of all these great teachers across the U.S., right, within this program. And then actually, we had you come on live in the big room to talk about some things. So that they loved that when you came on and you dropped some gems on.
Yeah, I was only there with you, player. You know what I'm talking about? So that's how I was able to get that opportunity. Man, we have a lot of information. Where can our listening audience find you at?
They can find me on social media, Instagram, Space Teaching, at Space Teaching. And then the website is www.spaceteaching.com. So those are the main two platforms that I have right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Warren. Ivra Warren. And Ivra, also too, just if you can give a shout out to just any one of your colleagues, who would you want to shout out right now?
You talking about at the big MHS?
Yeah.
Man, that's hard. That's hard, man, because my administrative staff, it's something when you can go into school and know that you can make a mistake and you don't get penalized. You know what I'm saying? Each one of my administrative staff brings something extra to the way I teach. Dr. Sanders, I know exactly how she works and needs things done. And she always has an intuitive, if there's a word, I don't know if I said that word right, about what to do next if I get stuck. And then I got Miss Lyles Irvin, and she keeps my political game straight. She I don't put that in the you do that. And then Miss Cheryl Johnson, that's my director praiser. She set me a whole new set of goals because she recognized not being, full of myself, but she recognized I needed a new set of goals because the ones that she has to guide me by, we already hitting them. So she went and gave me new set. Jay Johnson, man, great. Then Calhoun, man, just talk about the calmness and how he presents himself through the admin level. And then just all my coworkers, Coach Alec, me and him can plan so fast because he'll look at me and then I recognize his talents. His talent is ad-libbing, right? So I'll be teaching, but I be thinking I break it down some. But then he comes from his special education background. He got a whole nother, he might say cars in garage or apples and trees. And I'm like, what you know what I'm saying? Well, he's talking about the same thing I'm talking about, and the kids like, oh, I got it now. So his ad-lib game is crazy. But yeah, man, just Miss Walker, man, just everybody I don't have nothing bad to say about nobody. You know what I'm saying? And you know my role, some of the things I've had to protect myself and all of that stuff.
Yeah. Hey, when you are a trailblazer, sometimes that trail that you blaze and nobody out there with you, and you got to stick your head out. I'm just so proud of you. Hey, just seeing your growth, and you're always a motivating factor. Love talking to you, man, because you're always doing something worthwhile. Thank you for coming on the show. And hey, I wish you the best.
Oh yeah, man. Likewise, we're gonna stay in touch and keep these good ideas going because y'all know I call it trying to up one him. And every time I think I got him, he like, oh, what did you think about this? I'm like, I'm never gonna beat it.
Nah, that's not true. You already beat me. Hey, and then also too, we said we was going, before I let you go, we had said that we were going to do a podcast, and it just came to my brain. So what I want to do is I want to get your ideas on maybe doing a live session where we go through classroom management and we take calls from teachers and we broadcast it and we see what kind of problems can we help teachers solve on Brainstorm Live on air.
I am totally game. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even got to ask me. Just tell me where I need to be.
Yeah, I think we need to go ahead and probably shoot that up for this little break we got coming up.
Yeah, we definitely could do that because that allows them to get some new ideas on where they may have went wrong in classroom management to where they can have a successful spring semester. Because what I would like to talk to them about is the onboarding process. Like a lot of teachers don't even have an onboarding process, and that's found in space. And that comes from, again, out.
Yeah. Hey, man, we got it. We'll get together. All right. Hey, thanks for having you. Thanks for coming on my show, man.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. Definitely.
In 2023, the education landscape will have unprecedented innovation and creativity. With original ideas flourishing everywhere, educators can look forward to being engaged in more meaningful ways than ever before. Thanks to authentic approaches that provide just the right dose of individuality and imagination. At the same time, ethical considerations will become increasingly more important. So you have my word that I will stay fresh, original, and authentic. So like we always do about this time, let's collaborate, communicate, and educate with the best educators in the world right here on Flipboard EDU Podcast.